through 3 states,
A special hello to our Honor Flight members.
4 airports, and 8 memorials. This site is the norm.
It kind of makes you well up a little bit that they're so concerned about making sure the veterans get their due, get respected.
Police escorts through Washington, D.C. and runway water salutes. But of every thank you, cheer, hug, and cry, the greatest salute these 30 veterans get is the one hardly noticed at all.
With the soldier scuffing, again, what that means is that he is saluting you as a veteran of Honor Flight.
400,000 graves rest at Arlington National Cemetery. Just like the salute, the most indistinctive one displays the highest honor. The tomb of the unknown soldier is guarded every second. When the relief commander begins the changing of the guard ceremony, he cannot turn, salute, or thank the Honor Flight veterans next to him. So instead, he drags his foot right as he walks by.
Well, it was a very impressive ceremony, and the scuff was a salute to all the veterans there, and I thought that was pretty keen.
3-foot scuffs from the relief commander are directed towards Nevada's heroes.
Kind of an intimate expression of respect, and kind of universal. Like the salute itself. The salute itself is very universal, and that was just a form of it.
Many vets say the foot scuff means a lot. Others call it an emotional climax.
Especially for World War II veterans, this is going to be, their last chance probably to see them and say thank you.
Regardless, a cheer, handshake, foot scuff, or applause. To these men and women, every salute means the world.
When people want to shake my hand, that's an honor. They're honoring me, and I'm happy to return that shake.
Each Honor Flight Nevada trip has a tight itinerary. Stops at the Naval Academy, monuments, memorials, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all in 2 days. But still, you have to be flexible, and sometimes when you are, Hollywood couldn't write a better ending.
They don't care how you look, they don't care how you smell, they just want to meet you.
As the bus arrives at the Iwo Jima Memorial for a quick stop, a company of Marines on a Saturday afternoon jog end up at the same spot. Needless to say, change of plans.
Once in a lifetime experience. This is the first time that we've ever encountered something like this. It's a great opportunity to thank them for paving the way.
Hey, how you doing? Quick introduction and then right into war stories.
It's an honor to meet you.
The company quickly formed a line to meet every Honor Flight Nevada veteran.
We look up to them. They're our heroes. They're the people who inspired us to join through their acts of valor and their service they did in previous wars.
They seem to be the only ones that know what you've been through or what they don't know what to expect. So it's nice to talk with someone with experiences.
Once the meet and greet ends, the bonding begins. These Marines become personal escorts to each veteran. One by one, they arrive at the Iwo Jima statue together. America's finest, past and present.
It just is exciting for me because they are doing what I did. And to think that they brought us here and these fellows come out, it's great.
That specific interaction, it's a humbling experience to know that men and women have put themselves before you and that you are living a legacy. We are part of history now.
Next stop, the Women's Memorial at Arlington. Right off the bus, it happens again.
It's our honor and privilege to meet them, and it never gets old. It's absolutely a lump in your throat moment every single time.
A platoon of Navy chiefs, again on a quick Saturday afternoon run. Take a quick break.
It's amazing to see all these young guys made the effort to run out here in the warm weather and sweat to see us and sing songs for us. It was great.
Us just paying our respects to them, thanking them for everything they've done for us. But I tell you, get the opportunity to sit and listen to a veteran speak, it'll take your breath away.
2, 1. There were so many and all being so great. I told them I wish them all a lot of luck in their new careers and behave. I said, make sure you do what your mother told you to do, behave.
It turned once in a lifetime opportunity into something even more special.
thank you for your service and welcome to your memorial.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Good to be here.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, so much.
Where were you?
Oh, I was in the Atlantic, the Mediterranean, and the Indian Ocean. We took fighter planes over, and we were attacked right off the coast of France.
He got killed in Korea. Although a cousin of mine that would be he'd probably be 95 years old now.
Yeah, remember you telling me earlier?
Right, that's the one. So I don't know which one he would be in. His name was Jose Perez.
You served in the Pacific, right?
Yes, sir.
All this area here is represented?
All this,
Pacific?
all the Pacific.
You want to go see more of the park?
You betcha.
Yeah, it is.
You want to take a swim?
I sure would love to.
Midway.
Yeah, Battle of Midway.
When Midway was battled with what?
That's when I got married.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Right before you went over?
Yeah, before I went over. I went over, well, I got married the 5th and left the 19th. Went in the 19th.
Wow.
So Midway was going on right after I got married.
And maybe we'll quit having wars.
The march of the price of freedom. Everything is just wonderful.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The ceremony that you are about to witness is an Army wreath-laying ceremony to be conducted by Honor Flight Nevada.
You want a drink of water before we go? Man, gentlemen, and step up to the first step.
I asked her, I said, what are we over here for? And she said, you guys are going to be placed into the wreath for the unknown soldier. I said, for reals?
Please place both hands on the wreath.
Praise it! Oh!
Please return to the side of the host.
As soon as a trip is planned, Honor Flight Nevada books a time at Arlington National Cemetery. The appointment is to watch the changing of the guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Laying the wreath is a completely separate request.
It's not always, it's a hit and miss. You know, yes, you're granted, no, you're not. You know, so it's, we get shocked when we do get it.
For the second time ever, Honor Flight Nevada was approved.
It's just the taps is a very emotional procedure. You know. It sort of signifies death of some, you know, of a hero.
They sprung it on us in 10 minutes and told us, let's go. You know, I didn't know what we were going to do.
If you tell them any sooner, a lot of times they get nervous and I can't do that. So we try not to tell them until like the very last minute. You know, it's an honor for it to say Honor Flight Nevada, because it's really not just the organization, but if they felt a part of it personally, and then even to put Nevada on it, you know, it gets more to our state.
It was the greatest experience I've ever had in my life. I never thought I'd ever get involved in anything like this.
I've seen that on television many, many times in the past, and I never dreamed that I would ever be able to participate in it.
First, I became a United States Marine. Second, I got married and had 4 wonderful kids. And the third just happened today. It's something that I will never forget. Never, ever forget.
One round-trip flight, 3 nights of hotel fares, 9 meals, and every possible tour crunched into 2 days. For these veterans, the trip is free, but the money still has to come from somewhere.
Not only do they help raise money, they've raised just about enough to pay for the entire trip. But they're out in the community, they're ambassadors for us.
Among the red shirts, the honored veterans selected for the trip, you'll find a man who's not only a part of the group, but the reason many of his colleagues are here in the first place.
We are having our second annual summer barbecue. It's a chance for the vets to get together without worrying about appointments or anything.
Marine Frank Greenwood is the commander of Disabled American Veterans Reno, Chapter 1.
And just be amongst friends, people who understand us.
In August, Greenwood and the group donated $10,000 to Honor Flight Nevada. This check pays the way for 10 veterans, a huge dent for an organization 100% run on donations, grants, and fundraising.
100% of the money goes right to the veterans. There's no paid positions, there's no overhead. So it's groups like that, bring it forward, pay it forward, and make it happen.
Oh, I got both of you.
Greenwood says the average veteran doesn't make it to D.C. He hopes his donations complete bucket lists across Nevada.
The last chapter never gets written. This trip and that $10,000 is wrote the last chapter for all 55 of these veterans here.
But Frank isn't necessarily anxious to write the last chapter of his own book. Honor Flight Nevada founder John Yespa has offered Greenwood a ticket before.
He's a veteran himself. He's a Vietnam combat veteran in the Marine Corps. And for everything he's done, we want him to see and be able to report back to the community, to the DAV, to all the other veterans, personally what the trip's about.
After declining several times, Greenwood has finally accepted.
We just kind of, almost dared him, bet that he wouldn't go. He was reluctant, saying he was afraid to fly, and he was scared, and, everything a Marine wouldn't admit to. We just had to use that against him.
I did. I'm so glad I came. I told Gunny and I told John, I said, I need to kick myself in the butt for not coming.
And once Frank found his cousin on the Vietnam Memorial Wall, the trip hit home. Freddie Ray Cox, killed, first day in country, at 19 years old.
5 minutes into it, he was hooked. He's got a whole new family now, and you can see it in his eye. He's already sharing the stories, and he already gets it. He's part of it.
I wish every American would have an opportunity to spend 3 days in an environment like this, to be able to share the emotions, the stories, and the joy that camaraderie really brings to each and every one of us.
Dad would probably be in tears. I didn't see him cry very many times. In fact, I can only remember 2. But I'll tell you, this probably would have brought back a lot of memories.
We're really kind of bonding over this more than I really expected. It's a little bit overwhelming, actually. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was involved in ship-to-shore supply.
He went in on Omaha Beach on D-Day and lost people right beside him on the way in, and fought his way across Europe, and I don't know, came home in one piece, for which I'm grateful.
Look at the names.
He didn't want to go, which is like most of the guys. They don't think they're special. They never have. They don't think they were heroes. They think they were just doing a job.
Marjorie went into Bermuda flying with Chenault, but I never heard from him after that. Because apparently he bought it.
When we finally decided he was going to go and that he wanted me to go with him, I asked him questions. I didn't before because it wasn't something he acted like he wanted to talk about. And I don't think any of the guys do.
4 weeks after they were married, Dad was sent overseas.
18 months.
And gone for 18 months.
When I was young, he wouldn't talk about the war at all. It was too fresh. He never did. I think that's common to most vets that I've met.
Almost got sunk by a bomb.
But in recent years, he talks about more stuff in more detail. There are still things you can tell he kind of glances off of.
And it's very tough. It's very tough for him to go back to that time.
We had nothing, no ships, no airplanes, just a lot of courageous people.
Where he lost friends, there was some death march that his friends were on. One came out, one didn't.
Mom at that time was discharged from the Marine Corps and went to live with her new mother-in-law in Inglewood. And I don't know, did you write to Dad every day?
Not every day, but enough.
Yeah, well.
Often enough.
As far as this trip goes, there's a lot more to it than you know before you go on one of these. It's pretty amazing.
He needs to talk about it. I think all the guys do because they went through some pretty rough stuff. And we don't know what it was. They've kept it all inside. We know what the history books say, but we don't know what our men went through unless they tell the stories.
This is yet another selfie.
Peace!
It was like having my grandpa's back for a weekend, and that's how it was so different than telling a regular news story. Is you go into it thinking you're just going to document a trip, and you come out documenting life, and it changes your life in the process.
Manny says I'm going to be fired because I use subjects like Manny in my films. What's wrong with you?
I'm not supposed to stop with my mouth.
Right now, it's filming our conversation.
Is that right? You guys are something else. Technology. I was a radar technician. We would never even have conceived of anything.
By the time I left, it's like I had so many surrogate grandparents, and I just wanted to like hang out with them all the time.
Sir, and what was the most exciting thing that happened to you today that you would share for the rest of your life? Something that you would pass on to your kids' kids' kids.
Does it have to be today, or can it be throughout the whole trip?
Today. What was special today?
Oh man, watching you scream when I put ice down your back was pretty good. Untuck your shirt. Ah!
Cut.
It went from I'm going to tell a news story to I'm going to try to tell the lives of these guys and gals as they, have things that come back to them they haven't thought about in decades.
Thanks, my friend.
That was awesome.
This is part of my family.
You meet these people, and it's a little intimidating at first because there are so many veterans around you who have amazing stories, and you're like, how do I approach them? What do I say? What are we going to talk about?
Let's go. Made me love you. I didn't want to do it. I did. I thought it was
How is boring little old me going to be able to keep up a conversation with these people who have lived through such amazing times in our country's history? But you just become friends so fast.
They get to take those stories that we do, and they get to watch them over and over again, and they get to share them with their families, and they get to feel a little bit of the emotion, just a fraction of what it's like to really be there. But to be able to do that for the veterans, it's the least we can do, and I'm a different person having gone on that trip. I truly am.